This is the Final Round Podcast, coming to you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt. Well, that's a good sign. Everything's holding together so far. The internet has been up and down. So, as you saw there, I pushed the wrong button, and you saw me rolling the dice.
I did.
I do not know how this is going to go. This could go really well, or it could be a crash and burn. Thanks so much for joining us here. Final Round Drag Racing Podcast coming to you live from the North Park building here at Academy Square. Number 76 is on deck tonight. We've got Anthony Galluzzi going to be joining us here for a little bit, talking about some drag racing, some quick 16 racing, a little bit of fabrication conversation coming up in that. I think we're going to squeeze Jason Smith on the air as well, catch a couple thoughts from him because he happened upon the TG Fab shop at the wrong time.
Definitely a wrong place at the wrong time.
But Jason joining us here in studio, he was excited to find FingerLakes1.com HQ here this evening. Made the drive up from, you said it was Green?
And I was in Green, New York.
It was purely white the whole way?
It was a nasty, nasty drive. And, of course, typical Google Maps, gives me all the back roads to take because that is the shortest way to get here from Green, assuming that the weather is nice. Well, yeah, the weather wasn't nice, and it was an ugly drive.
What'd you do? Just get on 81 690 to 90 and come over?
No, that would have been the nice way to go.
Yeah,
it was backcountry roads.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was up and down hills, and a couple of times loss of steering because the roads were so bad. Yeah, it was ugly. It was not a fun drive at all. I have to say, it started this morning, actually, but I don't know. I thought the blizzard that we're supposed to get, I didn't think it was supposed to come until this weekend, but it was nasty out there tonight.
I heard this morning that the travel advisories in Rochester sounded like there's some slow going on 490 and 390, but my drive to school was inconsequential. It was fine.
So
I didn't know what was happening, but you were in it all day.
I was. Well, I was in it. I mean, it started basically after I left my appointment this morning in Elmira, and from Elmira over to Green, Binghamton area was yucky, and from Green back up to Seneca Falls here wasn't pleasant either. It's one of those things where you're crossing your fingers the whole drive, thinking to yourself, all right, this has got to end soon, right? I'm sure I'm going to get on dry pavement any time now. So, yeah, it was not the most fun drive, but I made it, and we're in one piece, and unlike you, my car isn't wrecked. And,
wow. Wow.
Two cars aren't wrecked.
Coming out firing.
That's right.
Yes, in 2019, which last year, which is all in the past now.
Both cars wrecked in 2019?
It was Memorial Day and then the second week of December.
Oh, yeah, so you're done.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Hopefully.
How was the new Lincoln, by the way?
Drives good. I like it. Drives well. I like it a lot. The rot in the rear corner, though, I got to do something because it's getting amplified quickly.
But it's significantly newer than the other Lincoln.
It's 5 years.
So
it's newer by 5 years. Newer by 5 years. It's got, it's got probably 20,000 more miles on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it still has the air suspension in it. So every time you turn it on, you got to wait for the compressor's got to pump it up. But
did we turn the other one into a derby car yet?
It's still at the house right now. We're still debating back and forth now. It's funny you should ask that. We got Anthony's going to be joining us here in just a second. We'll shift gears on this, but you asked that. There was a special zoning board meeting on the 13th, and my dad thought that perhaps that the special. I didn't read up on why they were meeting. It's out there. I could have.
Yeah.
I just made the assumption that it was because there were so many junk cars piling up around Waterloo without plates on them. Because I could think of several, and I've got mine, which has no grill in it and clearly no license plate, and then I've got my Chrysler out on the side where the tarp hanging over the fence blocks it.
Yeah.
Whether you could tell if there's a plate on it or not, but
your washing machine's on the back porch where nobody can see it, right?
I haven't got anybody stopping and asking lately, but now that it's been tore up for over a month, I imagine that they'll come knocking before too long. But I got a couple people interested in it. We just got to solidify things.
Well, we'll make use of it one way or another.
One way or another. I would much prefer to sell it than make use of it. So All right. So on December 11th, I hit the 2 deer, right?
Right.
On December 18th, a guy that I know very well down in Woodstock, Virginia, posted a car for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, a derby guy.
Yeah.
It was a 2002 Lincoln Town Car in the same color silver for $850.
So now you're like, I got to wait for that one to sell before I can post mine for sale.
No, if I could get him to bring it up here, I could get all the parts I need off of it and fix mine. By that point, I'd already
do 2 for 1. All right, yeah.
By that point, I'd already got to a point where I was going to get another car because I was trying to move things along. So, yeah, it was exciting. Oh well. But Anthony is waiting in the wings, ready to join us. He's got a ton of work to get to over there. Things backing up at the shop. It's that time of year where everybody's looking to build stuff. How things been going?
Yeah, it's starting to get pretty crazy now. After the new year, people are all getting their cars wrapped up and trying to figure out what they want to do next. So it's kind of calm right now. I mean, it's getting busy, but I have a feeling come February, March, tax season, it's going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's about the time everything picks up, for sure. Is it so you still got a little bit of time before you get the phone calls on Monday saying, hey, I'd like to get a car built, and they call you back Thursday asking if it's done?
Yeah, I have time. I can get some schedules in right now.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, as the racing season draws closer, Anthony. By the way, thanks for joining us on the show. I can only imagine as you get closer how many people end up calling you up at the last minute asking, hey, can you do this, small project? I just need a, full cage built for my car. Can you do that in the next week?
Yeah, the best is April. Yeah, the racing season's like end of April, and they'll call like April 20th.
Right. Though it's funny you mentioned about the tax season, right? I mean, I never really thought about it just because of the fact that it's not the business that I'm in. But yeah, clearly the racing is a kind of a luxury for a lot of people, right? So that's the extra money that they had that they put into their race cars. So yeah, I'm sure once they get their bonuses, their year-end bonuses and tax season, that's probably when business picks up significantly.
Yeah, everyone's paying off their credit cards from the holidays, so January's pretty slow, and then they start doing their taxes to figure out how much they can spend and not get in trouble.
Right.
With their wife.
So now, Anthony, I mean, for those that don't know you, I mean, you've been racing out at the track for a while, yourself and your dad. Your dad actually raced or leased Lancaster for quite a while. I want to say 5 or 6 years, maybe he leased Lancaster and ran it?
Yeah, brief history on that. We've been racing there forever. I mean, my father has been racing all the way back to Niagara, and then he quit to raise my sisters, and then he got back into it when I was a kid in the Lancaster. And then we raced there ever since I was 5. And fast forwarding many, many years, come 98, 99, we had the opportunity to step in and purchase the track with Rieger.
Right.
And that's when Stan Friesen backed away.
Yeah, yep.
So Friesen's backed away, and my father and Gordon joined in, purchased the property, and then my father leased the property.
Okay.
And we had the business.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was going, is that, I have to say that, a lot of the guests, it's funny because overall in the drag racing world, there's a lot of people that you are, I guess I'll call acquaintances with. And you and your dad, I certainly know both of you from out at Lancaster, but I can't say that I have, really close personal relationship with either of you. So I wasn't really 100% certain. I knew you were competitors out there, but I wasn't really certain how long your family had been racing. But I didn't realize that your dad was racing out at Niagara.
Oh, yes. He had an old car, I think 58 Camaro. He raced up there quite often. And then the street racing on Ohio Street was a big one.
Right.
With the Camaro. He had a nice sleeper. And then he quit for a while and then got back into it when I was of age to get to the track. Okay.
Now, did you start you're considerably younger than I am. Did you start racing juniors?
No. It was something I always bugged him for, just like every kid would at the track.
He's a smart man. He didn't buy you one. I didn't either.
Yeah, he's like, if you can't buy it, we're not getting one. But we focused it on the race car because I knew I was going to be jumping into the Chevelle that we had at the time once I turned 16.
Now, when I guess it's funny too because right, this has really turned into it's really nice to see because of the fact that your passion really for drag racing has really turned into a career for you. I mean, I'm sure you started doing the fabrication work on your own cars. I mean, is this something that your dad did a lot of as well?
He had a body shop for many years.
Okay.
We owned Bison Auto Glass he had it for 30 years. So when he had the collision shop, he did build hot rods on the side and old classic Jaguars.
Yeah.
Did some exotic paint work. The fabricating side of it, not so much. He can weld, he can fabricate, but I started off doing that with different industries that I worked in.
Yeah.
For sanitary welding and chemical and nuclear and pharmaceutical factories.
So you were actually in the commercial world, and that's kind of where you started really honing your fabrication skills then?
Yes.
All right. And then clearly, obviously, it makes 100% sense as to why at some point in time you'd be like, okay, you know what? Welding up tanks for a pharmaceutical application doesn't really get me going in the morning, but building race cars does, so I'm going to go do that instead.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Chris.
You made mention of the Chevelle, and I found a picture of a red one that has a red top and blue on the bottom, and then there's a picture of a black car with a red stripe down the side. So what are the sequence of these two cars that I'm looking at right now before I put them up?
The Chevelle was the car that he started racing again with back when I was 5 years old.
That's the one with the big
That
blow.
car he bought from some guy at the dealership or the collision shop he worked at, and it was an original 1970 SS Chevelle.
Really?
Matching numbers car, yeah. And we started racing it, and that was the end of that. We started cutting up this, started cutting up that, and then it ended up going over to G-Force, and he built a full tube chassis to run Quick 16 back in the 90s. And fiberglass front end, doors, Lexan, sheet metal interior, tube chassis, the works.
Yeah.
The only thing left of it was the roof and the top of the quarters. So that was the car we raced for years. That's the car I learned in, too.
Yeah.
580 car, 590 car, about 700 horse. It was a fun car. So we ended up selling that one in 2004, and Vito built our Camaro, the frame.
Yeah.
My father and I did the rest of the work. And that was a full top sportsman car, minus a little bit of power, because we didn't have the money for a big monster motor.
Yeah.
But we ran Quick 16, and over at Empire, we raced there quite a bit. Gotcha. And that car, we raced that one all the way up until about 5-6 years ago.
I would say it was pretty. I mean, you raced that. I will say. I mean, it was pretty recent that you continued to race that car. Now, at the same time you were racing that car, you had your dragster, right?
No, that car, we sold that one to Dave Textito, and that was about 3-4 years ago. And I actually stopped racing for a few years. I didn't have a car. Well, we sold everything.
Oh, I didn't
know
that.
Of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just kind of focused on my career and just kind of laid low for a little bit and ran into some new friends, and that was it. They were like, you want to drive my car? So
right.
I started driving my friend Cal Phillips' car, bracket car.
Yeah.
We ran TNT Hot Rod for many years with that car.
Yep.
And top in that Lancaster.
Yeah.
So we raced that one for the last 4 years, and the dragster just kind of came along. It was a barn find, so we picked that one up at a reasonable price and put it together just last year.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I thought that you had both the dragster and your dad's Camaro at the same time.
We had a different dragster. That was a G-Force top alcohol dragster that my dad put together with Jim Oddie.
Okay.
Jimmy sponsored my father with the motor, and then we built the rest of the dragster.
Okay.
And we ran that for a few years with the Camaro as well.
So I guess tell me about the dragster now that you have now. So I mean, you said that was a barn find?
Yeah. A friend of mine, one of the cars that I built as well, he had it in his garage for like 7 years, and they had plans for it and just never did anything with it. And every time he came to the shop, he's like, "You want to buy a dragster?" And I'm like, "No." It wore me out, and we bought it, me and my friend Cal.
So is there anything that, I guess, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing sitting 7 years, it probably needed some updates when you got it, right?
Yeah, thankfully the frame was already updated. S&W took that, I think, back in 2012.
Okay.
And did the 4-link, and added a couple bars that were needed.
Yep.
And me and Jason, we stripped it all down, all the wiring, put new stuff in it. I ran all new plumbing for the fuel, and I put a 598 in it. New training, just went through the gears, checked everything, and just made sure everything was going to be safe. Put it all together.
And I guess from a driving perspective, are you splitting driving duties, or are you driving it mostly?
I'm driving it.
Okay. I would say, because, yeah, I didn't know that it was kind of a partnership car. I thought that it was just yours. And I have to say that, overall that, Billy Lieber and I, for a while, we were partners in his car. I mean, I never ended up driving it. And there was plans at some point in time that I was going to drive his dragster, but just never did. And but yeah, I mean, if you had asked anybody when Billy got his dragster, it was like, oh yeah, that's Billy's dragster. But I was, I guess at the time, kind of a silent partner in it. But I just assumed that your dragster was your dragster, and I assumed that you built it too. Yeah,
it's basically the same kind of deal. It's a silent partner, I guess you would say. Me and Cal have been racing with each other for many years, and we're partners when it comes to points as well. So we saw the opportunity, and we took it.
And I'm assuming he still has his TNT Camaro, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's going to be driving that full time this year. Well, actually, part time. His nephew, or his grandson, is going to be driving it as well.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So at what point in time, I guess, now for this past year, you started, I guess we'll call it, really the first season out with the new dragster. I'm sure there was a lot of, little kinks to work out with it. By the end of the season, did it round into shape, and, was it where you wanted it to be?
Surprisingly, there wasn't too many bugs. We had a couple overheating issues, timing issues, but we solved them within a few hours, and the next week we were out tuning it. I say after probably the second or third week of being at the track, I started competing. And we did pretty well with it. I lost first round, I think, once the whole end of the season.
I wish I could say the same thing.
Yeah, we got it dialed in pretty good. I was really surprised, to be honest with you. I thought we were going to have a lot of bugs. The Chevelle, that was a nightmare. The Camaro, same thing. We spent probably almost a whole season tuning that car.
Right. Now, the motor that's in the dragster, is that something that you built from scratch for the dragster specifically?
Yeah. A friend of mine and I, we put that motor together.
Okay. And is that just normally aspirated, or you got that on spray or anything like that?
The spray might be part of an option this summer. We're not sure yet.
Okay.
But it's a low compression pump gas motor, 10-to-1, about 850 horse.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. We're going to pump it up a little bit this year, I think.
I would say the nice thing with motors like that is, I don't know about pump gas. You probably know better than I do, but it sounds like a great motor to put a Pro Charger on.
That was the plan. That still might be the plan.
Yeah.
The motor was built for a supercharger, for a 1471.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. And
we could put a Pro Charger on it. It's just the funding wasn't there this year.
I would say, did you just decide you wanted to get the car out and get it going and kind of work the bugs out before you threw 8,000 horsepower at it?
Yeah. This area, it's tough to really be competitive and very consistent when you're that fast. The tracks aren't perfect like down south.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
You've been in Lancaster and Empire. They're tough tracks to race at.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you're going 480 or faster, it's going to be tough to be really consistent.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm not really sure. I don't know how quick you were going in your dragster, but overall, if you said, all right, how many cars in this area are consistently going, let's say 450 or quicker, I don't think there's many.
No, there's not. And there's cars going that fast, but consistently every single round.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
I would say it's the old, anybody can rip off one run every once in a while, right? But yeah, if you want a bracket race, you got to be able to get down the track consistently, and that's pretty darn fast for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we got this car dialed into like a 512, and it'll run that all night long. Right off the trailer, 514 and 513, and by the end of the night, we're at 512. I mean, mile an hour is 134, 134, 134 every time.
It's funny, too, I know that overall the tracks, let's talk about it from a quick 16 program, the tracks want to see the fastest field they can possibly put together. But, Billy Lieber and I have talked about this in the past. There's, aside from being number one qualifier and potentially getting a bye if there's not a full field, there's not a lot of motivation to be the fastest car out there if you're running on the hairy edge. You're much better off to slow the car way down, still qualify, and be super consistent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know the Quick 16 back when we had it at the track, it was the same deal. I mean, people weren't beating up their motors to run 470, 480. I mean, we were just trying to stay in the field.
Right.
I mean, why beat up your car? It is a bracket race, and I know the track wants to see the fast cars because it does bring people in the stands.
That doesn't pay.
So
that doesn't pay the racer though at the end of the night, right? Okay, yeah, great.
Right.
You were the fastest guy out there. You rotated the Earth once, and you're on the trailer first round.
Right. So I think that's why a lot of guys don't really beat up their stuff. I mean, there's a few out here that just have crazy amount of power when it comes to Lieber and Vic Puglia and Yakos. When they want to pump up their motor, they can run 390 or 410, but then you got to look at the safety factor of it too. I mean, not that long of a shutdown. I mean, it's decent, but it's not really like Empire or Norwalk, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, you've primarily been running at Lancaster, right?
Yeah, that would be my home track, yes.
Yeah, and I guess I did. I know Empire released their preliminary schedule. They've had the 470 class, but the dragsters, that's strictly door cars, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so for a fast dragster like yourself, is there anything really out there to go run at Empire?
Me, I'm not fast enough, no. They have Top Dragster, I think 3 or 4 of them events for Top Dragster at Empire.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think, unfortunately I don't own a dragster, so I mean, shame on me. I guess I don't pay enough attention because it's like, all right, that's a dragster class. It doesn't pertain to me, so I move on. But, I wasn't 100% sure that there was really, like I said, Lancaster, they were running the Quick 16, well, at one point in time, I think when your dad was running the track, at one point in time, you had Quick 16 every single week. And then I think maybe it went to once a month program or something like that. I don't even know what they run Quick 16 now.
We don't have a Quick 16 program at Lancaster anymore. It's been long gone since we've been gone.
Okay.
I don't know the answer why. They do have a fast class at the end of top, the Quick 8, top 8.
Okay.
But it's not real fast like it used to be.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess that's something that overall, if you want to throw more power at your dragster, it's like that's what you could potentially, try to get the dragster into, right? Is run the top 8 program.
Yeah, the top 8 I probably would get into. I could have qualified for it last year. If you're running 490, 5.0s, you can get into the top 8. Quick 16 or top dragster, I don't have the motor, the power plant for something like that, nor do I want to get one. It's just a lot of maintenance.
Not yet, but like I said, you throw a supercharger or procharger on there, and now you're right in the mix.
I am, and then it comes with maintenance. I got cars I got to build for other people. I only have limited time.
I completely understand. I mean, every once in a while I will have these fleeting moments of insanity where I think to myself, I'd like to go a lot faster than what I'm going right now. And then I think about the maintenance that goes on top of it, and I'm like, nah, I kind of like being able to put my car away and do nothing and pull it out the next week and have to do nothing on it, right?
Exactly. I pick on Jason all the time at the track because they're all busting, working, and trying to fix this between rounds, and I got my chair at the end of the trailer, relaxing between rounds.
I was chatting before you and I chatted. I chatted with Jason for a little bit about his car, and I forget the exact terminology he used, but he said something along the lines of, "I'm one of those dumb, fastest street racer guys," and and I'm like, "Hey, look, I mean, it looks really fun." But man, I mean, the amount of work that those guys put in their car is just incredible. I mean, to be perfectly frank, for an old guy like me, I don't think that I'm cut out for it. I'm just too used up. Let you young guys go do that. So, yeah, I mean, and overall, I mean, I can certainly understand the desire to go and race that class, because those types of classes, because they look super fun for sure.
Well, they definitely are. I mean, it is a rush going that fast. And Lancaster's got 4 events that they just posted.
With the Buffalo Street Outlaws?
No. It's dragsters and door cars.
Oh, okay.
It's a quick 16 that they're doing now. The bump for dragster is 490.
Oh, so you have to dial 490 or quicker.
Yeah, you got to be faster than 520 for doors and faster for 490 for dragsters.
I don't know. I have to say, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not going to say that I dislike it, but I'm not going to say that I like it either, because how many guys, potentially like yourself, that are on the bubble are going to say, nah, I don't really want to speed my car up to race that one event. I'm just going to pass it up.
Yeah, that's the problem that we had when me and my father ran the track. We were going back and forth about the quick 16. What are we going to do to get these guys in here? And it really ended up coming down to purse. So Luckily we had a couple big sponsors that put in a lot of money so we could give these guys $2,500 to $3,000 with I think it was $110 entry. So that was the incentive right there. I mean, when you have $1,000 or $1,500 to enter on a race like that, you're going to get people that are going to hit and haul, like, I'll just run top.
Right. Yeah, and I know that I remember I was out at Empire when they were running 470, and I saw all these just gorgeous cars out there, high dollar pieces, super quick pieces, and I don't remember what it was to win. I'm going to say it was $2,000 to win, which for a bracket race, for your normal bracket race, I mean, yeah, $2,000 to win for a normal bracket race, that's pretty good. But when you looked at the money that these guys had invested in their cars, I'm like, man, really? $2,000 to win? That just doesn't even seem reasonable to bring that kind of car out here to race for $2,000, right?
Yeah, some of them, it's just, I mean, it's a hobby. A lot of the retired guys that just want to have some fun with their kids, and they got the money to have a fast car, and there's other guys that just, they have a good sponsor.
Sounds like NHRA Pro Stock these days.
Oh, boy.
That's just a whole other ballpark.
Oh, boy.
NHRA Pro Stock is
insane.
It's the same thing. It's a bunch of rich guys out there playing with their toys on the weekend. It's the exact same thing. Obviously, it's not NHRA Pro Stock. It's a different level. You're talking about a different magnitude, but
all 10 of them.
They're
pulling full fields, aren't they? Pro stocks.
I don't know if I mean,
No?
I will say they had more than 10, but. And, Jason Line announced this week that he was retiring after the 2020 season to concentrate on building motors for KB Racing. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to guess that the quote-unquote retirement basically really, I won't say it was forced, but my guess is that, hey, look, Jason, we love you and we don't want to let you go, but we want to let you know that, we don't have money to run 2 cars anymore. So if you want to go out and get your own deal, I mean, you're more than welcome to continue to work here and race Pro Stock, but we just can't do it for you.
Right.
So that's my guess is how this went down. But yeah, it's, I would say for the most part, they were getting 14, 15 cars. It's just way too costly to run. And yeah, in the end, I think NHRA Pro Stock, to me, yeah, it's a lot of money. I think it's $50,000 to win. But I mean, their budget on a annual basis is $2 to $3 million. So you talk about winning $50,000. It's like, okay, well, what's that going to do? I got to go out and win every single race to be able to break even. It's insanity.
Yeah. It's all about the sponsors.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So for this coming season, what are the plans for the drag? So you're just going to kind of leave it as is and go out and have some fun?
We just did a little updates on some things on the interior part of it, electrical, and putting a vacuum pump on it. I have a nitrous system that Jason's staring at me with, trying to put on. So we might do that. I don't know. I want to go out there. I want to be consistent. I want to win.
I can fully understand that. Yeah, I completely understand that. So from a fabrication and your business standpoint, when is it that you started your business and really concentrating on, let's call it building race cars and performance hot rods and stuff like that?
We've been around for almost 4 years now.
Okay. And again, I mean,
we got a little stop in Orchard Park, right past the village and the business complex over here, and nothing crazy. I mean, we don't have full CNC machine shops here, but I got a decent sized shop. We got a CNC plasma cutter and all the slip rollers and the brakes and your typical fabrication equipment, couple jigs, lifts, and all the welding equipment that we need. We do full frame Top Sportsman chassis all the way to 70 Nova that I'm looking at right now. That's going to be a pro street car.
Yeah, and I was going to assume that really you could do anything, soup to nuts. I mean, if somebody needs something small, I don't know what it would be, a couple bars welded in, you're probably willing to do that. If you want to build a full race car, you could probably do that for them too, right?
Yeah, we get jobs here and there that are just a simple 6-point cage or mount a gas tank or a radiator, and like you said, full chassis. Just depends on what the customer's looking for.
I would say set of headers. I know someone that's in the market for a set of headers.
I'm actually building a set right before you called on a Typhoon.
A Typhoon?
Guy's got a lot of money in this truck here. He's got the best of the best in it. Steve Damon did the motor. We're guessing it's going to be right around 800 horsepower with a turbo. So I'm building stainless steel headers, all the turbo piping. We're doing everything.
Are Jason Smith's headers done yet?
No, those are going to be here probably in about a week or two. That is going to be a challenge.
I would say, how did you know about Jason Smith's headers, Chris?
Facebook. Because we thought that maybe Jason would want to join us for a few minutes. So I went through and found Jason's page. So I had some photos and stuff queued up. And one of his posts was getting the header set, getting the headset to get a couple headers from. And then Anthony was tagged.
I see. Okay.
Very easy. And that was December 22nd.
So is
that's a car that I built for him a year ago? Yeah, last year we built that chassis for him.
Yeah.
And now he's getting it wrapped up where he'll be out this season with it.
Is that going to be a Camaro?
Yeah, it's 84.
The third gen Camaro. The 84 model.
Oh, there's Jason right there.
Yep, I would say. So yeah, you didn't share that information, Jason. I wasn't aware that you were actively doing work on your car to bring it back out this year.
Oh yeah, I've been working on it since I got it back from Tony. We've been doing, the small stuff I'm able to do in my garage. With the help of Tony, he comes over, and if I need stuff welded, he usually welds it for me.
Right.
Unlike him, I can't weld very good. But I wired the car. It's full. It's a full race car. We tore it down to basically just the shell, built a 25.3 chassis car out of it, and we're going to try running with the Buffalo Street Outlaws.
So every picture that I saw of Jason, his arms were crossed. Every one of them. So
with a Rodex shirt on? You see, they call me the angry leprechaun for a reason. Dave Hillner a couple years ago caught me in a picture at ESTA. It was 98 degrees and 100% humidity at ESTA. It was just a brutal day at the track, and I had a long orange beard with a green shirt on. I just looked really mad. Well, ever since then, I've been known as the angry leprechaun.
I was just wondering if Anthony was holding the phone for him so we could have his arms crossed now.
Maybe. I say, well, and if he's angry enough, he might be able to intimidate Anthony to make him hold the phone for him. But I mean, you have a problem though with someone crossing their arms. I will say that I stand with my arms crossed quite a bit. I find it very comfortable to do this.
You do.
I know, from a body language standpoint, I'm not supposed to do this because it looks like I'm closed-minded, right, and not open to answer.
Oh, I had a meeting after school today from 3:30 to 4:30 that I was letting everyone know that I was closed-minded the whole time.
Yeah, you got to be careful these days. You don't want to offend anybody.
Oh my God! Yeah, I say that's something we can't even get into, especially with Mr. Old School on camera here. Yeah, like I said, say the wrong thing and you're going to offend everybody, but. So Jason, what are you doing? I mean, you updated the chassis. Now, other than the set of headers, why do you need a set of headers? I guess I wasn't even aware you were doing this.
I mean, it's a whole brand new build. We went from top to bottom, brand new everything. We're putting together a brand new 598 nitrous motor, and we just need a new set of headers built for it. So I called Tony, and I'm like, "What do you think?" He told me, "Well, if we're going to do it, we're doing it out of stainless." So I was like, "Okay, well, here's my credit card. Go buy all the stuff and let me know when it's done."
Well, I have to say that I think that's a good choice. I mean, overall, obviously, there's additional cost up front to build them, right? But there's I think there's some performance benefit. But for me, the biggest thing is just the not having to pay to have them coated the first time. And ceramic coating, though it lasts a while, it's not something that lasts forever. And yeah, if I were going to do it, I mean, I literally need a set of headers for my Corvette. I've mentioned it multiple times on the show over the last year. But yeah, I really want to build them out of stainless because I want this to be the last set of headers that I have to build, and I don't want to have to deal with the ceramic coating and all the rest of it that goes into a standard, mild steel set of headers, right?
Right. And the way I build stainless headers is unique and a lot different than pretty much anybody you'll see. Being that I have experience in nuclear, pharmaceutical, and food industry, we use sanitary piping. And it's 065 304 stainless, and the inside of it is completely polished.
Yeah.
R4, it's like a mirror.
Yeah. So that's what you actually are using to build the headers for the racing applications too?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. So I mean, and I don't know how much you know about my professional career, but so I am in the industrial automation world. So I spend a lot of time inside of pharmaceutical and medical facilities. So yeah, I see the nice polished stainless everything everywhere, and obviously a lot of those places have nice fabricators that work for them. So that's pretty neat how you transition the technology used essentially in commercial to a racing application.
Yep, we do full exhaust systems for hot rods and headers, and we use the polished stainless steel.
I would say they got to. Let me say, do you have any pictures up? They got to look amazing.
We will have a few because the Typhoon's going to be done very soon. And we're going to start right on Jason. So we will be posting those. And I have a booth over at the Cavalcade Cars, and we're going to have a set of headers hanging up there so you can see them up front in person.
When is the Cavalcade Cars?
I think it's March 5th, 6th, 7th. First week of March.
Yeah.
It's the same time as Speed World this year, again.
Oh, it's the same week
weekend.
again?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool though. That's a nice. That'll be a nice showcase for you. Well, Jason.
Also the same weekend as Capital City Carnage, if I remember right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be out in Topeka.
Will Jason's car be done by then?
No. We were trying, but there's too many things. I mean, we were going to put fiberglass doors on the car, but I ended up running out of money. So we ended up putting the stock steel doors back on after they got dragged around the shop, and they're all dented and scratched. It's just not in viewing pleasure for anybody to see yet. So
right.
We decided to pull it out of the show, and we're just going to take the headers that Tony's going to build, hang them up off a set of heads just so people can see the welding work.
So the booth then you're going to have at the show is really going to be concentrating on the shop. So it's not going to be a let's call it a 50-50 race car and shop style booth. It's going to be really dedicated to showcasing the work of the shop, right?
Yeah, I'll have a rear end that we're going to put together. We're building a Colmali sheet metal rear end with the 4-link and all the gussets and the braces that are needed for a 2,500 horsepower motor.
Yep.
So we're going to have that on display and the set of headers, and then just the slideshow photos. There's a few cars, customers already registered their car to be in the show.
Okay.
So we'll have a few of those cars in there as well.
Yeah, and I think that, quite frankly, I think that's a excellent place for you to essentially advertise, what your capabilities are. Obviously there are some, long-standing fabrication race car shops in the Buffalo area, and you would probably be considered, one of the newer guys out there. But I mean, the types of things that you're talking about doing overall are really the types of projects that you would only get out of the highest quality type of shop. And I think the thing that people have to remember is that though TG Racing may not have been around for all that long as a incorporated business, you have years of fabrication experience at this point.
Yes, yeah, I've been welding since I was 12 years old. I've been in fabricating and working in the industry welding 15, 18 years now. I've welded just about every metal out there.
So have you welded titanium in the past as well?
Yeah, we welded titanium, Inconels, tantalums, and then your typical stainlesses, 316, 304. I do a lot of work on 330, 430 stainlesses, which are a pain, and then into the aluminum and your basic steel.
So maybe, I'm sure you can probably answer this question. So Billy Lieber and I were talking about this earlier this week. What is it, why do titanium headers tend to crack?
Right after the heat band.
So is that what it is?
About?
Is it the heat that kills them?
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, it depends on the application too. I mean, the headers, it could be vibration.
Yep.
It wasn't welded properly. Was there too much heat into it? Was there not enough heat into it?
Okay.
I really couldn't give you an answer on that.
I would say, are they? Is titanium typically more brittle than stainless?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I would say I'm not. Being a poor racer, kind of like Jason, I'm tapped out. I got no money. There's not a lot of titanium components on my race car. I'm guessing there might be. You won't see any on mine either. Yeah, I'm guessing there might be none. So, yeah, I can't tell you, honestly. I don't know really the first thing about titanium for the most part, other than, it's exotic material that all those high-dollar race teams use that I can't afford.
Yeah, for the racing application, it's nothing I've done in the shop. We've done a lot of instruments in the field when I was working in pharmaceutical that we used before, so something like that never really was brought up.
Now, if someone was, I guess I'll take this from my own perspective. I mean, stainless. The big difference, really, from building a set of headers, let's call it, whether you're going to build a set of mild stainless build a set of mild steel or stainless headers. The big difference in cost is really the material cost, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the weld time is too, because I back purge everything. So you can put a set of mild steel headers together in probably half the time.
Okay, so I didn't realize that it actually took longer to fabricate them too.
We had Robin.
Yeah, it's harder to work with. I mean, it kills your tooling. We use a Fisher saw, which if you've seen anybody in the pharmaceutical industry using one cutting the stainless. It's a machine that cuts a perfectly square cut on any pipe.
Yeah.
So we use those to cut all our tubing because it's a lot easier to work with than using a bandsaw or a cut-off wheel, because the stainless is just going to destroy your tooling.
Yeah. What, Chris?
Wheel, you could just cut through butter.
Yeah.
We've had Robin Showman on before.
Yeah.
On the show, and Jeffy Showman, he runs Jeffy's Fab Farm. They make headers down in Virginia.
Yep.
Remember we talked about those, and he's got all sorts of weird combinations of stuff coming out for derby cars, 4-to-1s with the collectors and stuff, and different turnouts and chrome tips and anodized and stuff like that. And he's been burning wire like crazy, putting stuff together. And we've had that conversation similar to what we're having right now about the different materials, and it's not necessarily the amount of time that you're investing, but it's the materials and making sure that those materials are put together the right way.
Yeah.
If you just throw something together with really expensive material and you throw it together the same way that you're going to throw together a set of mild steel headers, you've just wasted a whole bunch of time and effort.
Yeah.
You got to make sure everything's going together the right way.
Once you fabricate the headers out of stainless, Anthony, is there anything else that you have to do to them to finish them? I mean, do you have to send them off for a final polish or anything like that?
No, nothing.
So
if you want them coated, you can, because you are going to get a heat band.
Yeah.
From the temperature of your motor, obviously. So if you wanted a consistent polish all the way down, you could have it coated.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do. They're not going to rust. They're not going to deteriorate. I mean, they're going to last forever.
Yeah, and I have to say that I like seeing the heat band, I guess, on the headers. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I do too.
I will say that I wish I could. I've never really learned how to weld. I welded a couple of times, and the welds were really ugly. And as a race car guy, I know Billy Lieber had sent me a link on Facebook. There's a page somewhere, and it's like welding porn or something like that. And all it is,
part of that.
You're part of that.
Yeah.
And it's like all it is pictures of unbelievable welds, right? And you just sit there and look at it as artwork. It's like, wow, that's incredible. But I
I get sucked into it every now and then as well.
It's obviously not something that welding takes a long. To perfect, it takes a long time. And then I know the older guys, like my uncle, he stopped welding as he got older because of his vision was going away. It's like he didn't want to weld anymore because he couldn't weld to the standards that he was used to, right? And it's really incredible to watch somebody. They're craftsmen. You guys are really, really craftsmen to be able to do the types of things that you do. I would say, are you looking up welding porn right now?
No, actually, I found a picture that Anthony had on his page already. It's right there. It was plain to see. It was weld porn. But I don't think that's what he meant about looking at welds.
Maybe not.
What picture are you referring to?
I assume it's one of the friends that you have wearing black boots and a hoodie just doing some welding.
Yes, and she looks very attractive.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
But
that's funny.
Hey, it was. Do you call it tagged correctly? Is that what the kids call it? Tagging it?
Yes.
It was tagged correctly.
In our day, it was captured.
Yes. Right. Exactly. So right now, if someone came to you, Anthony, and said, "Hey, we want to bring some work to you," how would they get in touch with you? Obviously, you do have a specific Facebook. There's your personal Facebook page, but do you have a business Facebook page as well?
Yeah, TG Fab Race Cars. We have a Facebook page, tgfabracecars.com. It's just a small website I put together. We are going to be going through that probably this summer. It needs to be updated.
Yep.
Because we are expanding a lot of the stuff in the fab shop. So not only do we focus on the race cars, we also do signage, custom tables, metal, like custom metal work for legs on tables. And I'm going to start doing some sign work as well.
And I will say that almost every successful race car fabrication shop, I guess I'll call it, that I've seen always had, and again, I think the kids these days are calling it a side hustle, have their side hustles, right, doing commercial work.
What are you...
Yeah, you have to. In this area, the racing industry is just not huge, like if you were to go to Virginia or the Carolinas.
The Carolinas, right.
Up here, we only have 6 months of racing if we're lucky. Yeah. And there's only 2 racetracks really close by.
Right.
So by the sounds of things, it's mostly GM stuff that we've been talking about, right? Pretty much with all the Chevelles and the Camaros and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's
pretty. Well, there's a picture that I found from 2017, and there was this little guy hiding in the background. I was wondering if you could tell me more about that. It appears to be an early '60s Mopar. Might have been back there.
Yeah, it's a white.
It's like a Dodge.
Yeah, I would guess.
64, 65 Dodge, two-door. What was that there for?
Oh, at the shop.
Yeah, at the shop.
Yeah, that's Mike Balzer. I built that car for him about 2 years ago. We did a back half and a full 850 cage, all the sheet metal work.
Drag racing.
He had a little 9-inch tire, and he wanted to put a big tire and a sheet metal rear end, and came to me, and we put it together for him.
That's awesome.
He's been absolutely loves the car. I think it's a '64 Fury.
Best picture we've seen all night.
Yeah, but that car is awesome. He loves it. He's won a lot of races with it. The car is deadly consistent, and it was a fun build.
Yeah, we definitely got to see some more project work out of you. You know what you should do? Since Jason is poor, you need to put him to work like being your social media marketing guy and make him earn his keep and take some project pictures and get them, get a lot of that stuff up online so people can take a look at it.
Yeah, we will be. There's a lot coming through the shop this winter, so there'll be a lot of updates on the page.
And obviously, with you being at the shop at 10 to 8, you guys are obviously, hungry and cranking out work, right? So, I mean, that's the nice thing, too, is that you always hate to see where, you're taking your car someplace and it just sits there and collects dust in the corner. That's it's definitely not what you guys are doing. You're actively working on projects.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy I'd have to say last year. We had some big projects in here, and I got to finish up this 70 Nova and this Typhoon, and we got a 55 Chevy coming in right after that, 68 Camaro, and it's just the calls are starting to come in with some little jobs here and there, so we got a couple big builds coming up right after these two cars are out of here.
I'm thinking he needs a Lincoln, like a 2001.
Yeah, we don't work with rust.
Wow. The car was in good shape. The car was in real good shape.
I heard a lot of rust conversation before we started.
Oh yeah, that's the one that I just got. That's got trouble in the quarter panels. That's a different car.
Yeah, that's just a.
Okay.
Yeah. The other car needs some chassis work.
No, it's all sheet metal. Everything's straight. Nothing got moved. It was just old. That's why the insurance company didn't want to fix it.
Well, I'm saying it needs chassis work so we can do something cool with it.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. I'm with you.
Have you ever
Make it into a sleeper?
What was that?
Turn it into a sleeper?
Exactly. Yes. There is somebody that actually races a Lincoln, and I want to say it's in like NMRA or something like that. Now it was like I'm going to say like an 85.
Yeah, it was like a Continental, right? Had the funky trunk lid. It was like the two-door Thunderbirds and the Cougars.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Someone races one of those, and I forget where the heck I remember seeing it, but it's super cool looking.
I've seen a black one doing a wheel stand. I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, super cool looking. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty neat cars. Mm-hmm. But we could do something cool with yours too, instead of just smash it up and some more.
But I'm sort of in the same boat that you are of having no money, and I haven't raced yet. My car's already wrecked.
That's a little problem,
which seems problematic.
Right.
I mean, right. I'm no expert, but seems problematic. Well, what can you do?
Well, Anthony, is there anything else that, as I mentioned to you before you came on the show, that an hour flies by? We're at 54 minutes.
That is correct.
Just like I thought, it's like a bunch of guys basically just sitting around talking about drag racing and stuff like that. It's like, where did the time go? Before we let you go, so you can get back to work and work on your customers' cars, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or people you wanted to thank?
Just with the shop. I mean, racing season's coming up, so if you guys have a build that you're planning on doing, give us a shout, and we can either come to your house or shop and take a look at your car so you don't have to worry about trailering it here first. I'm more than happy to come over there and take a look at it and give you a quote. And we can go from there to get your dream.
That's a nice service. Not a lot of people do that.
No, there's not. There's really not. I just got done looking at 2 cars this week. I was like, can you come over and take a look at it? First, he wanted the trailer here. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll swing over, take a good look at it, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's a great offer, and certainly people in the Buffalo area need to take you up on that for sure. So it's TG Race Cars on Facebook.
TG Fab Race Cars.
Yeah, TG Fab Race Cars.
Okay, all right. And Jason, anybody you need to thank before we let you go?
I got to thank Tony, man. The amount of work he's done on my car over the last year and just helped me out as much as he could. I mean, I can't thank him enough for it. Really helped me out, trying to save me a little bit of money here and there. That's about it, man.
Well, it's good to hear that you're coming back after you've been away for a little while. Looking forward to catching up with you again as we get closer to the release of the car, when everything gets all buttoned up and ready to go. I'd like to have you on the show to spend a little bit of time talking about specifically your time away and then the subsequent return to the sport. I think that there's some interest there, and obviously I think that it'd be well worth it to have Anthony back on.
Absolutely.
If he could make some time, especially with some of the big builds that are coming along, and pick his brain a little bit about some of the theories that go into these, the conversations that as you're tailoring something that someone's going to just invest a lot of money but also spend a lot of time with, how much do you get to custom build a car for somebody so that it does what they expect it to do? Do you build a car that helps to fit somebody's driving style when it's sitting on the jig? Conversation we can kind of...
Yeah, there's a lot we can talk about on that, yeah.
So that's... if both you guys are open to it, we'd love to have you on again.
Awesome, yeah, I would love it.
Excellent. Sure. Online, TG Fab Race Cars. Check them out. Look them up. Say hi to Anthony. Say hi to Jason. Guys, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know you got a lot of work to do. Thanks for making some time for us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You bet. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
It was Jason Smith and
Anthony Galluzzi.
Ill-timed arrival. Jason. Well, Jason, you talked to Jason, right? Anthony initially reached out through... If I understand everything right, Anthony initially reached out through Jason.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
Of sorts, right?
So yeah, Anthony happened to see one of our shows. I'm not sure which one.
He's got 75 to pick from.
But
right,
he watched one of them, and we must have at least impressed him. Where he was having a conversation with Jason and saying, "Hey, I wonder how I get on the show." And so yeah, Jason took it upon himself and reached out to me and said, "Hey, how do we get on?" You just ask. That's all you got to do. And yeah, I mean, if you're into drag racing, obviously, everybody's got a cool story to tell, right? And that's the thing that I really enjoy about this podcast is I really enjoy, hearing about how did this person, whoever it is, get to where they are today. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things that I didn't know that Anthony was doing. I didn't know.
Did you see the fire pits?
I did not.
We didn't even get to deep enough into the stuff that we were doing. When you started talking about the other stuff that they do, they make these. It looks like they make these. They almost look plasma cut out fire pits.
Well, he says he has a CNC plasma. He said he had a CNC plasma cutter.
The detail that's in those, and then they make wall hangings and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good Christmas, birthday, Father's Day ideas on Anthony's personal page. I didn't even go to the TG Facebook page to get further details on it. But there was a lot of cool stuff on there for those fire pits. Those are very cool looking.
I would say my wife has been actually bugging me that she wants a new fire pit, so I'll have to go take a look. Maybe if I'm talking to Anthony about a set of headers for the Corvette, maybe I can say, hey, how much for a package deal of headers and a fire pit at the same time, right?
And you're going to get a fire pit with headers.
Maybe. He's, I've always been jealous of guys like him that have that fabrication ability because I don't. And to be able to do that kind of metalworking on your own, it's like it would just be so cool. I mean, to be able to make that type of stuff, it's like there's a lot of stuff you can go buy, but it'd be like it's so much more fun to build something like that on your own if you can actually do it.
And the thing is too is with his background in metalworking, you go buy something, a fire pit at Lowe's or Home Depot or Bass Pro. It's made out of such crummy metal. It's junk in a matter of time. He's using heavy stuff that's going to last.
Right. Yeah, and I will say that just from a sales perspective, there's a definite market for that, right? I mean, people like to have not only stuff that's going to last a long time, but they like to have stuff that's unique, where people come over and they're like, whoa, that's cool. Where the heck did you get that? I've never seen that in a store.
And with the amount of work that he does that's per order, everything's going to be probably available custom to you. So you could get a fire pit that had the outline of the Camaro, right?
Yeah. I would say I'm not. I will say that I am not an expert in this at all. But yeah, part of the nice thing about having the CNC plasma cutter is that once you do, let's call it the main program, you save that program, you're done. But then if you want to go back, like I said, and do some customization of it, then he changes the CNC program and customize it exactly the way you want. But yeah, that sounds certainly pretty cool. Like I said, I'm just jealous of his skills. That's all.
Justifiably so. Let me see if I can find those quick while we're bantering back and forth. I know they were in here.
I really want to see. I want to see the set of headers as well.
Those I couldn't find anything. I was nosing around, and I couldn't get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to him about potentially building me a set of headers. I wish he was in Rochester so he could come out to the house and take a look at what I got now. I don't know. Maybe one of these Saturdays I'll talk to him. Maybe one of these Saturdays will be interested in taking a drive out to Rochester to have a look at the Corvette and let me know.
This is one of his photos, so I believe this is one of them that they did.
Okay, yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't be. There's another one with the ducks and stuff.
Oh, that's super cool.
Isn't it? It's wild. The Garage Mahal.
Okay, and he had mentioned that he was going to start doing signs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's, I really like, I don't know why, but I really like that duck one. That duck one really...
it's very rustic. It fits the whole theme of your house. Very rustic.
I guess, right?
Very hunting cabin.
Yeah. I say it's not like
I've never been inside your house. I have no idea.
It's not like I have a thing for ducks, but that's pretty cool. I like it.
Very much so. So yeah, check them out. TG
Fab Race Cars.
Yep, online, or Anthony Galluzzi. What do you think? We cover all our bases tonight?
I think so. I really appreciate them coming on.
Yep. Big thanks to Jason for coming on and being a good sport about it.
Yeah.
And it worked out good. Shared some good information about those headers. So something to look for when they get over to the cavalcaded cars. I think that's going to do it for us here tonight. We appreciate you tuning in for episode number 76. Big thanks to all the guys who helped make the show possible. The guests that we have week in and week out. Every time we're on the air, they're making time for us. Especially this time of year, those guys got a lot to do. So big thanks. If you do ever want to get on the show, all you have to do is ask. We will find the time and a place for you to and work with your schedule as best we can. That is going to do it for us here. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. See you next time. This has been the Final Round Drag Racing Podcast, coming to you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. We'll see you right back here again in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.